Hi guys, welcome to episode 4 of the series reviewing and ranking my entire CD collection. If you've seen the series before, it's lovely to have you back, and if you're new here, it's lovely to meet you. If you have been here before, excuse me whilst I just explain very quickly again why I am doing this. This is my tribute to the no longer alive CD format. I love the CD era, the physical copy you can hold in your hand, the cover art and liner notes, burning your friend and or potential lovers for the players out there, compilations with your own quirky artwork, meticulously taking time over each track, making sure the mood you're trying to conjure up flowed seamlessly from one song to the other, all while sticking to the very strict no more than one song per band rule. This was a better way to discover music and a better community was had. So far I've reviewed and rated Adele, The Addicts and AFI, and today we're jumping back into reviewing the latter on their 6th album, Sing the Sorrow. I don't particularly remember ever listening to this CD or knowing when I bought it, but apparently, according to Jeff Bezos, I ordered this album along with 14 others. Jeffrey Lewis, Red Hot Chili Peppers, Nirvana, Ride Wild, NWA, F-, The Clash, Cap Down, All, 7 Seconds, White Stripes, System of a Down, Stuff and Pennywise. Apparently I bought these in January 2013. This will be why it got lost in the ether. The total cost was £29.52. Most of that was postage and packaging. Sing the Sorrow set me back a whopping 14p. As of August 2023, the cheapest you can get the CD is 40p. Not as bad as the £24 charge of the below par album by The Addicts in episode 2. Following on from the All Hallows EP I reviewed in episode 3, Sing the Sorrow was the next chronological AFI release, as I do not have the 2 EPs or album that came out between All Hallows and the album I am reviewing today. I completely butchered the names of the members in the band on the last one, so I will try and redeem myself here. AFI, or A Fire Inside, are a 4-piece hardcore punk band featuring Davey Havoc on vocals, Jade Pudgett on guitar, Hunter Bergen on bass, and Adam Carson on drums. Well, I say they were hardcore punk, but we'll get to that. Sing the Sorrow was released in 2003, making me 20 years late to the party. It was an album that divided opinion within their fanbase due to the abandonment of their previous hardcore punk, horror punk look and sound for a more goth-inspired post-hardcore makeover. This, alongside departing the independent punk label Nitro Records to do the unthinkable and sign with DreamWorks, a major label, lost the band many fans at this point in their career, branding them as sellout. Despite losing fans, they ended up gaining many new followers, and with their new major label foundations, they made many appearances on MTV, as well as peaking at number 22 in the UK singles chart with Girls Not Grey. I have the UK version of the album, so that is the one this review will be based on. Did they sell out? Who cares, in my opinion? My take on selling out is that music is either good or it is bad. Don't worry if anyone's sold out. Don't worry what label it's on. Don't worry if it had 8 producers and 17 writers. If it's good, it's good, and if it's a genuine shift in sound because they feel like it rather than to gain commercial success, I think the authenticity, or lack of, will be evident in the delivery and final output. I remember everyone being shocked when Rancid released Indestructible in conjunction with Warner Brothers. Everyone was kicking off, but I think they would have recorded the same album if it had had nothing to do with a major. I'm convinced people didn't like it purely due to the major label connection. For me, it was a genuine record and one of the best. What I'm trying to say, it's a fantastic album. It felt authentic, even if their sound did change slightly. I get the issue people have with Rancid because they were so adamant they would never have any dealings with any major label, so I can get that disappointment and betrayal you feel as a fan, but if you're over 13, you shouldn't get too upset. AFI no longer belong to an elite core of fans, and I get it. I have been a fan of bands before they got big, and it does take away a bit of that magic when they are no longer your secret, but musicians do need to eat. If you are familiar with Get in the Van by Henry Rollins, you can understand why he now says yes to every gig, acting role and advert offer he receives. That said, don't insist that your song about sweatshops should be in a Gap commercial. Or was it Levi? Jello Biafra told me that was true, and I for one believe him. Get over the change in label and judge the band purely on the music. It only takes 53 seconds into the opening track, Miseria Canter. Have I said that right? Before the fans of hardcore punk era AFI think, blimey, this isn't the hardcore punk AFI of old I'm listening to. What on earth is this? The industrial drums, the mid-tempo chanting, the cheesy stadium rock? I don't think I'm going to like this. They are met with a mixture of styles that continued throughout the album, completely alien to anything AFI have recorded before. There are no whoas here. Maybe the band listened to the complaints of NoFX. Granted, there are some moments on this album the OG AFI fans can get behind. The catchiness and optimism of Dancing Through Sunday, even with the stadium rock breakdown in the middle and the Iron Maiden guitar solo that follows, and Girls Not Grey with its over-the-top gothic midsection that adds to it rather than hinders it. The latter has become a staple part of the band's back catalogue, and rightly so. We are treated to different variations of emo, screamo, post-hardcore and goth rock throughout the album, and I commend them for trying something new. There is only so much hardcore punk you can record and play at gigs without it getting tiresome, especially if your band have a recording and touring schedule well as busy as AFI. They have two options: keep on doing the same one-dimensional hardcore punk, or try something new with the fear of losing fans. The new style feels natural to the band. If I had never heard of AFI before, I wouldn't think this was their experimental album. It's as if they have been doing this style for their whole career. It helps to get a producer as accomplished as Butch Vig of Nevermind by Nirvana fame, amongst others, to make sure the change to a major label runs smoothly. He has encouraged them to restructure their songs, and there is so much layering and clever links that make the arrangements feel natural, even though there is a lot going on musically. There are so many good examples of a seamless change of style throughout the record. The Prodigy-esque drum and bass section during the emo screamo number Death of Seasons, also featuring a somber string moment at the end of the track, is the peak of musical exploration, as is the acoustic breakdown on Bleed Black, reminiscent of House of the Rising Sun, adds an epic change of pace and new depth to the band's songwriting ability. I said in my review of All Hallows that I was impressed by Davey Havok's versatility as a vocalist. Little did I know he wasn't even scratching the surface with that EP. His voice suited to every style he turns his hand at. Gothic, melodic emo pop and screamo, as well as your typical straightforward rock song like The Great Disappointment, sees Havok seamlessly sounding like the Smiths at the beginning and Linkin Park at the end. Generally, this album's new shift is not to my taste. I've always detested emo. The look, the atmosphere at the gigs, the seriousness of it all. I can hear you now. Yeah, because punks don't take themselves too seriously at all, do they? Yeah, that might be true, but we do have bands like The Vandals and Pizza Tramp and NoFX and Dirtbog Disco and a load of others that know how to have a bit of a laugh. The way emo bands have really whiny, poppy, over-emotional choruses, which is instantly followed up by the screamo singer shouting, shout singing at one pitch, just makes me feel physically sick. You know, sort of standing here all alone. Just doesn't do it for me at all. They all do it all the time. It's just something I don't get, and AFI are guilty of it on this album a few times. See Paper Aeroplanes. Luckily, Havok's voice is tolerable in this scenario, so it's not actually too bad. I had two ways to rate this album. Number one, for the genre that it is, it really works and is amazing. Or number two, this genre really doesn't do it for me. The former is definitely true. If I was a fan of this style, I would be giving it a 9 out of 10. But a lot of songs on the album just aren't for me, so I'm considering both schools of thought. I respect AFI so much for being able to change style. Despite being on a major label, it seems authentic and genuine. I don't feel as though they have sold out. I actually feel as though they've been clever. Wanting to release music that sounds so different to anything they've done before on the same label could just alienate everybody who is a fan and doesn't give them the opportunity to get a bigger reach of people who don't know about DIY bands and labels and would have missed out on a great emo / post-hardcore record. That's sad that people in music can be like that sometimes, but if Willie Nelson wanted to release a punk album, it would probably make more sense for him to sign to TNS. Speaking of which, the Leaving song, stripped down to just guitar and vocals, actually makes me want to hear an whole album of that. Willie Havok, maybe? I feel like I'm doing the album an injustice by giving it a low rating due to the adventurousness of new styles and well-produced songs with intricate sections and many different soundscapes the producers have managed to conjure. I read reviews calling this album a revelation, and I can see why. I've also read reviews calling this album a monstrosity, and I can understand that too. Both of these opinions make sense to me. This album isn't black and white like AFI's new look. On that basis, I have to give this album a reluctant 6 out of 10. I can't give it higher because although there are songs I really did enjoy, Girls Not Grey, the Leaving song, Dancing Through Sunday, it's just not for me, but I can understand why people would like this. It was a bit too long as well, plus 1 hour. Not for me. Keep it short. This review was so hard to write and difficult to score. Hopefully the next CD up won't cause any issues. I've just realised it's December Underground. Here we go again. And now I need to rank Sing the Sorrow alongside the CDs I have reviewed in previous episodes. Even though it's not my favourite genre, I would sooner listen to this than the Addicts album, which was a bit one-dimensional. No way is it better than All Hallows. I think that Sing the Sorrow had some better songs than Adele, but as a complete work of art, I would sooner listen to 21. So I'm going to put Sing the Sorrow just below Adele in 3rd place. Why am I doing this to myself? This is going to get harder. So this is how the chart currently looks. So in 4th position, we have the Addicts with 27. New at number 3, we have AFI with Sing the Sorrow. Number 2 is still Adele with 21. And at the top, we've got AFI with the All Hallows EP. Thank you for making it this far into the video. What did you make of my review? Do you think I copped out? Do I know what I'm talking about? What's the best AFI album? Let me know in the comments. Like, share and subscribe and all that good stuff. I'm only on 9 subs at the minute, so a 10th would be lovely to take me to double figures. Alright, I'll see you in the next one. Thank you.